Welcome to the Pepsi Center. I'm Matt Smith. This is Nilo Piro for Mile High Sports. Thank you as always for tuning in. Well, tonight the Nuggets advanced to 7-5 overall. They've now won 2 in a row, 6 of their last 8. They knock off the Thunder 102-94. And Anilo, this is a Thunder team that posed big problems last season, pretty much all year for the Nuggets. And getting this win over a Thunder team, despite the early struggles from Oklahoma City, that's a big step in the right direction for Denver.
No, without a doubt. And Head Coach Michael Malone kind of alluded to it after the game. You know, last year, this is a game that the Denver Nuggets, quite frankly, don't win. I mean, there's obvious circumstances, the experience they've built over then, from now to then, adding Paul Millsap and whatnot. But the big thing that I've been talking about with other reporters is we're starting to see the growth from last year to this year. And this is a good Thunder team. I think everyone has them kind of penciled in as a top 4 seed in that Western Conference, but a great all-around grit grind win for this Denver Nuggets team.
You know, and a big story in this game, and this is something Coach Malone mentioned after the game, and something obviously we picked up on during. First half, the Nuggets allowed 13 offensive rebounds and 21 second chance points, and this thing was really close. It wasn't a 1-point game at halftime,
Yeah.
So if the Nuggets can cut down on self-inflicted mistakes, they're going to be a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And early now, through 12 games, we're starting to see a team who has already gotten better in some of the areas that we were looking for. You know, like Malone said, second half, it was a big effort. They came out to limit Oklahoma City on the glass, and they did that. Just 5 offensive rebounds in the second half. And Malone said after the game, and I know it's something that you can see as well, there's a sense of confidence brewing in this team. We don't know what the ceiling is for that confidence yet, or what that's going to translate to, but early signs are pretty good.
No, they're playing with like lightning in a bottle almost right now to a certain extent. They're catching fire, kind of, I don't want to say at the right time per se, but they're doing really good things here in recent time, and that's going to help them moving forward. Obviously, they're what, 4-1 now on this season-long 6-game homestand, opportunity to go 5-1 with the only loss coming against Golden State so far at the end of this. But I mean, you can't really ask for anything better right now, for both on the defensive side and the offensive side. And I think you kind of alluded to it. They're kind of gelling on the court. They're meshing. They kind of understand where they are as a team, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and they're really playing to their strongest advantage.
And one thing I really liked tonight is Paul Millsap didn't have a great night shooting the ball, but he contributed so greatly in other ways, drawing a few big charges down the stretch. He had 6 blocks in the first half, doing things without scoring the basketball that benefit your team and help you win games is certainly a lesson that the rest of this team, I think, needs to learn, and is starting to really learn that. Paul's definitely rubbing off on them, especially defensively. Listen, they win another game where they hold a team to under 100 points, and that's a huge, huge deal.
No, without a doubt, and I think, you know, to kind of build off your point with Paul, is it's a mixture of, you know, integrating that all-star level talent in Paul Millsap, but also, you know, having your guys grow and mature as players. And I asked Gary Harris this after the game, you know, is learning to win these kind of games just a product of your experience and your tenure? And he said, yeah, kind of, it is. We're getting used to it. We've been in God knows how many games where we come out on the losing end of that side. So they're learning as they go along, and they're integrating the right talent to go with it, which is important.
Definitely. One of the guys that has really stepped up, and we've talked about the point guard battle quite a bit this season. We talked about it a lot in the preseason. We've talked about how it's bled over into the season. Well, we can't stress how valuable that is enough. Emmanuel Mudiay tonight was really special. Malone called him the MVP after the game. 21 points, an extremely efficient night from the field, and he has taken those jumps that Malone asked him to over the summer.
No, without a doubt, and I mean, there's no doubt. Malone said it tonight. He was the MVP of this game, a season-high 21 points for Emmanuel Mudiay. Really just a complete all-around effort from him. I mean, he was able to share the ball, dishing out some assists, some rebounds, a little bit of this, a little bit of that from Emmanuel. But like you kind of said, Coach Malone alluded to it as well, of all the credit in the world, it belongs to Emmanuel. This is a guy that took it upon himself to lose weight this offseason, come back in great shape, work on his shot, work on his playmaking. And that's exactly what we did. Exactly what he did. And tonight, he looked like the 7th overall pick that the Nuggets drafted him to be. Obviously, small sample size this season, but he's trending in the right direction. And again, like the Nuggets team in general, we're seeing the growth from previous years to this year, and that's helped. That's helped them here big time.
Definitely. Will Barton and Mason Plumlee also huge off the bench. The Nuggets with 49 bench points tonight. Nikola Jokic also with a solid game himself. 6 Nuggets in double figures. Jokic had 15. Like he said, Mudiay led the way, team high, 21 points. The Nuggets moved to 7-5 overall, get back-to-back wins, and boy, that's a big thing. They're, like you said, 4-1 on their season-long 6-game homestand. And when they began this homestand, if you'll remember, we were all kind of worried about the beginning. beginning of the start of this season for the Nuggets, but as we've started to get through about a little over 10 games now, 12 games through this season, we're starting to see really good positive signs at an early stage. And if the Nuggets can build on this in a consistent manner, I think we're going to really see some good things from them in about 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think you're kind of hoping what you've seen in the sample size of the homestand
Right.
is them ironing out the issues,
Right.
the early season issues that kind of carried over from last year for a multitude of reasons. We can point to the early season start, adding a guy like Paul Millsap, but regardless, the fact of the matter is they're playing good basketball right now, and they need to keep it up.
And they have another chance to string together another win on Saturday night. They take on the Magic,
Yep.
kind of wrapping up a big stretch of games
Huge.
here against the East, especially too.
Wins against the Thunder already and the
Yeah.
Raptors. I think a lot of people had them
Two
chalked up as
playoff
losses
teams
at that
yeah.
point.
Yeah, it was a big step in the right
Exactly.
direction.
And I want to throw this out there as well for this Orlando Magic game is we want what's going on.
Thanks. It's late night at the Pepsi Center.
Very,
folks.
very late.
Yeah.
What we definitely want to do here is the Nuggets need to win this game against Orlando. I mean, I don't want to say it's a must win, but again, you beat teams like Toronto, you beat teams like Oklahoma City, and I mean, this is a cupcake game for them. Orlando's just, quite frankly, not that good of a team. This is a game that they should win.
Definitely, and it's a team that you're better than, and it's a team you expect to beat, especially wrapping up a homestand like this. You would expect the Nuggets to get things buttoned up past midnight now. I think it's past 12:30. We're
Let's
both
see.
tired. I'm sure you're sick of listening to it as well. There we
12:27.
go, 12:27. Mile High Sports, Matt Smith, Anilo Piro, as always. Thank you very much for tuning in from the Pepsi Center, and we will see you on Saturday.